Hi, I'm Jess Tillis.
I'm Keely Barrett.
And I'm Emily Hogarth, and we're here to talk about solar power, more specifically its environmental benefits and its overall efficiency. We'll also discuss some criticisms and general benefits. We hope you enjoy our third semester Science and Global Change Scholars Project. Solar power is a source of renewable energy like sun or wind that will not run out. Photovoltaic systems work by capturing the electrons that are freed when sunlight hits the semiconductor in the photovoltaic cells in an electric current. Photovoltaic systems only work during the hours of the day when the sun is shining and are most effective when the sunlight is stronger and hits perpendicularly to the photovoltaic units. You can store excess solar energy so that you can access it later when sunlight isn't readily available, but we'll get more into that later. Here's a diagram that helps depict how solar energy works. Energy is first transferred from sunlight through your solar panels into a controlled device that powers your home. It is then put to use through a breaker box that connects to your everyday household items, like a refrigerator, for example.
How does solar energy work? Energy from solar light is harvested through the use of panels containing photovoltaic cells. The technology in these cells has been optimized over years of research. Thus, the brighter the sun shines, the greater the current of electricity is. The energy collected through solar panels from sunlight is transferred into DC or direct current electricity, which can be used to power everything in your household. Even when it's cloudy outside, the panels will still absorb energy from the sun. The system converter in solar panels transfers this energy into DC electricity, which is the same electric current supplied by the power companies through traditional utility lines. Solar panels on your home are connected directly to a utility power supply, so that any extra energy can be fed back to you for later use. There is a pressing need for more sources of renewable energy because they don't produce any greenhouse gas emissions and thus are not contributing to anthropogenic climate change. Solar energy is a smart alternative because there are no pollutants, it is completely green, it is not damaging to the earth, and it's renewable so it won't run out. This way we are not depleting the earth's natural resources. With oil, you have to keep paying to use it and the prices fluctuate and keep increasing over time. With solar energy, it's a one-time payment, and once you make back your initial investment from purchasing the solar panels, you're no longer paying for your energy. It's possible to make money from your energy too. For example, if you don't consume all the energy, you can sell it back to the electrical companies. Solar energy is a domestic source and eliminates the need to rely on other countries for energy, such as fossil fuel resources. There have historically been many disputes and conflicts surrounding the gain of fossil fuel resources. These numerous conflicts would be immensely decreased with the use of solar energy, as we would not rely so heavily on other countries for their resources. The most common criticisms of solar energy are the initial investment costs that come with it, the intermittency of the sunlight, and the location of the panels. Step by step, we will walk through why these criticisms aren't as bad as they're made out to be.
Initial investment costs depends on where you live and how many solar panels you decide to invest in. If you live in an area that is consistently sunny, like Arizona or California, you are more likely to make back your initial investment quicker than you are if you live in an area where there is a less constant source of sunlight, like Washington. Because solar energy is more efficient in these areas where it is sunnier, the cost of solar energy decreases. People in the Midwest can end up paying 15 cents per kilowatt hour for conventional energy. However, the price of solar energy in this area is 13.7 cents per kilowatt hour. And with the help of federal government tax cuts, the cost could be lowered to 9.6 cents per kilowatt hour. A lot of people are worried about the intermittency of the sun's rays and how they won't be able to receive solar energy when the sun isn't shining. This should not be an issue because when excess solar energy is produced during the hours that sunlight is available, they can be stored in batteries for later use. If the solar panels are located close to a power grid, the power grid can also supply energy when the sun is not shining. The location of the solar panels is a major concern for many people. The more solar panels you have, the more energy you may collect. The average household may not have sufficient amount of space for these panels. Understandably, most people do not have enough land to harvest an entire community's worth of solar power. But if people simply focus on powering their own homes, the idea of solar power becomes much more feasible. People can cover their roofs with solar panels, and this way it's mostly out of sight and not really obstructing anyone's views. Another interesting solution to this issue is to utilize landfills. Landfills become virtually useless after they are sealed and covered with grass, so some landfills have found a way to remain functional after closing by using geomembranes covered in photovoltaic solar panels to cap their garbage. Instead of taking away land that can be used for other purposes, these facilities can be built on top of essentially useless land. Many people's concern with solar energy is that they find the panels themselves unappealing and are worried that it could decrease their house value because of the aesthetics. This idea is commonly referred to as NIMBY, which stands for Not in My Backyard. People support the idea of solar energy, but when it comes to them and their own houses, they are not as eager and willing to make an effort. However, as more people use solar energy and solar panels become more commonplace, this issue will be resolved. To summarize, solar energy as an alternative source of power is something that should be seriously considered. It is completely renewable and is not harmful to the environment. The energy sources we currently rely on the most, fossil fuels, are huge producers of CO2 and one of the biggest contributors to anthropogenic climate change. Solar energy does not produce any greenhouse gases, so the more solar energy we use, the less we will have to rely on fossil fuels. This will decrease our contribution to climate change. Though the initial investment cost of solar panels is expensive, you end up paying less for the energy itself each month so that you can earn back your initial investment. It is even possible to make a profit depending on different factors. As we discussed before, each of the common criticisms of solar energy have simple solutions and aren't as major as some people think. We cannot consider solar energy in a vacuum. Rather, whether or not solar energy is efficient depends on location of the solar panels, the technology used, and the amount of financial incentives given. If solar technology is improved, these are the sources that we used for our video. Thanks for watching, and we hope you have a better understanding of solar energy.